hottest sports podcast around Valdosta State University. Made by the students, about the Blazers, for Blazer Nation all around. You're tuning into the Inferno Blazer Sports Show with Jalen Scott, Garrison Allen, Kyle Hawthorne, and Chris Mercer. And if you can't take the heat, what makes you think you can survive the Inferno?
Well, after a Wintersville night that saw the Lowndes County Vikings knock off the Wildcats, we bring you to a Blazer Day game day. Welcome to Baysmore Hyder Stadium, and welcome to this very special edition of the Inferno Blazer Sports Show.
We're outside!
We are outside. We have moved across the street from Mass Media 1106 studio here inside the stadium. I could not have asked for a better location for this very special occasion. I am the enforcer, Chris Mercer, alongside with G Unit, Garrison Allen. We also got camera 3 over there, out of place. You're supposed to be third, sir. Third.
Okay. It's just all it works out. The cookie crumbles, man. Come on.
Oh my goodness. And we got, of course, the man that has put this all together with one and only Jalen Scott. What's going on, man?
Good day to be out here. It's a great day to be a Blazer. Great day for Blazer football. And I also want to give one more shout out to our man behind the camera helping us.
Yeah, man. Win great, man. Yes, indeed. Yes,
helping us out today. He's a major help. But if anyone has also noticed, the man sitting right here to my right and G's left, we are introducing the newest Valdosta State University Athletic Director, Mr. Troy Katen. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We appreciate you coming on. It's a gorgeous day to do this, even though the sun was just beaming right before we started rolling. But we appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah.
We are recording this the day of when the Valdosta State Blazers take on the Shawan Hawks.
Shawan, not
Listen.
Or Chowan.
Or Chowan.
Yes. Get it right, Chris.
Oh, wow. I guess it's me today.
But
while we have you on, sir, first, welcome to Valdosta State proper. As you know, we had, of course, last year we had, last year's. Oh, wow. We had Mr. Reinhardt on last year, and we definitely enjoyed that. But first of all, what brought you to Valdosta State, and how you have adjusted coming in here to Valdosta?
Well, it was coming from another Division II NCAA school, and was just kind of looking for the right fit for what we're wanting to do and become an athletic director, and the school was very successful where I came from, so it was like, hey, can we find something that mirrors that? And this is probably the closest we can get. But there were some intangibles that you wanted as far as a successful athletic program, culture, following, all of that. And this fit the bill with everything, and was lucky enough to be selected to be the next athletic director down here, and we're loving it. Yeah, it's been good. We're learning how to navigate a college athletic program through hurricanes and tropical storms.
I was just getting ready to ask. Like, well, you got welcomed in with 2 hurricanes coming through in the last couple of months. Can you just talk about what was it like just going through that for the first time as music decides to play? As we get our
we'll leave it to the Red Hots. That's our multi-time national champion Red Hots in the background there, practicing their routine for the game. Hopefully our mics will be able to pick up our voices well enough.
Well, it's that's a great question. A lot of things that came about with that is we didn't do it by ourselves. We had a lot of help with the institution, our administration, the USG overall did a great job with us as far as letting some of our teams go on the road. Just our students stay at Middle Georgia. Obviously, everybody kind of knows the story a little bit about football, going to Georgia State and then Georgia Tech with the practice. But, we also had that whole week afterwards, we had volleyball on the road, we had tennis on the road, cross country on the road. Albany State and Georgia Southwestern hosted our women's soccer programs for our home events that we missed on our pitch. So it took a village from the system, university system, and our administration to help us get through that and make sure it was seamless and not disruptive for our student athletes, to where we could still kind of stay in a normal routine with everything.
That's cool.
I would honestly say that kind kind of unintentionally made our teams a little bit stronger. You know, a good deal of our teams, a good deal of our fall teams this year kind of have better away records for the time compared to home records. But you can take your slice out of that as you will, because you know our Blazers haven't had the most amount of time to play home here at the complex. But I mean, what a great fall season of sports has been. Football, volleyball, soccer just now clinching a spot in the North South roster, beating Mississippi College for what I hear the first time we have beaten the Choctaws in women's soccer. So that's a massive shout out to the women's soccer program getting it done on the road. But we want to transition to our first topic of the day.
Well, we had a couple of more questions. Of course, we know we're in a big football, community and things of that nature. Now that you have gone to a couple of games at here at Valdosta State, especially for football this year, what's something that you've enjoyed so far here at Valdosta State when it comes down to football specifically today?
Yeah, well, I think obviously, the winning is a big part of that, and that brings a lot of other things with that.
Oh yeah.
And not only just the atmosphere for our game day, but you go through and it's great to see Blazer Nation come into town, and you see them around town the night before, later that day after games that are our alums, just our fans, and you kind of get to listen to those stories of, I'm an alum from here and went to school and I come back for everything. The other great part of it is, our tailgate, the Blazer Walk, and then how we just kind of build some things around the opportunity to kind of showcase our student athletes and our coaches.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, it's great atmosphere, and obviously with our success, there's always eyes on you, and you can either relish that and take that in, or you can be like, oh, there's eyes on us. But I mean, we use that for a lot of great opportunities throughout the athletic department.
Absolutely. Do you have a specific vision as you're coming into, Valdosta State, especially a new, athletic director we've had now, first time in 30 years, and, we're starting over in that aspect. Do you have like a laid out vision of where you want to see Valdosta State in the next, 5 to 10 years beyond?
Well, that's a great question. It's an ongoing thing. Obviously coming in, we have great tradition of what, past coaches, and then obviously leadership with Herb and has done here for 32 years. So now it's a little bit different of coming in to where you don't have to rebuild or do something like that. It's how do we enhance and make things better, and a lot of that is some of it is behind the scenes of what we have to do for our student athletes, of making sure we play at a high school field. Can we enhance that a little bit better? What can we do for that? But it's facilities, making sure we have the resources we need to be to continue to be successful, because we've been at the top in a lot of programs for a long time. That target is a good thing, but it's also a thing that you kind of have to keep up to, because everybody wants you, everybody wants to beat you, everybody wants to be you. So how do we continue to find ways creatively to get better in everything we do, and make sure our student athletes have a great experience while they're here. Obviously our students in an atmosphere of game day, and you guys are a big part of that, because it's part of that game day atmosphere that we want to do and leading up to games. And so that's a big shout out to you guys too, as we appreciate that.
We appreciate that. Just coming up in the next couple of years, we've seen, and just recently, baseball team just had a scrimmage against Auburn. Yes, the Auburn, Auburn of Division I. And of course, in the last couple of years, we've had a scrimmage with Florida State that was Division I. And next year for football, we're supposed to have a matchup with Seidel next year. I do have to ask the question, and it's something that I have been asked, and we have asked amongst ourselves: is there a world where Valdosta State University makes the jump to Division I?
Another amazing question. At this point, no.
Okay.
And there's a lot of factors to that, because right now with what the NCAA is doing and how it's evolving, there's a ever-changing atmosphere and ever-changing environment in the NCAA right now.
Yep.
And you kind of see that with their Power Fives, and what they're doing, Power Fours. And so, yeah, I mean, you never would have thought some of that, but everybody's trying to make a super conference, and there's a trickle-down effect to us as well in the Division II. You see that across the country, where there's a lot of conferences that are trying to get a super conference, and then you're having a super region, and you see that in a lot of the different sports. But right now, I mean, I don't see that as in our future right away for a lot of different reasons. Financially, there's a lot of things with that to a big jump, and we have a great commitment, but just the uncertainty of what's it going to be just for the NCAA in those Division I schools in the next 3 years. There's going to be, I mean, everything's a trickle back down effect to us.
So very volatile kind of environment right now. So
right now, no, we're still until we're winning national titles every year in every sport. Then I think we still have a lot of growth in Division II to do.
West Georgia sure didn't think so before they made that jump. We still got that beach basket, West Georgia.
Yeah, and you mentioned other sports, and we talk about maybe a potential jump to Division I in the future. Isn't it you have to have more sports to go to D1, or is that still the case?
It is, again, kind of ever-changing with this, but a big part of it is, the Title IX compliance or you're equal with it. And a lot of people don't understand that along with that, you have to have certain administrative levels that you have to have as far as athletic staff, support staff, and different things. And that's some of the stuff we just don't have right now. But that's an investment. If you're able to do it, hey, great. But until we have our own football facility and can take care of ourselves, I think it's tough for us to make that jump.
Yeah, Chris and I were talking about the other sports potentially coming in the future. Mr. Reinhardt introduced a few sports during his tenure here. Sure. Are there any sports that you would like to include and introduce into Valdosta State in the future?
Good question. I mean, I've been with some programs and athletic departments where, at the NCAA level and at the NAIA level where we've had one program that we added 4 sports and it was up to 26 in a program. And right now, until we're, again, kind of resourced to be successful, I think we need to take care of what we have right now first before we add anything with that. So, and that includes, obviously, we have great support for football, basketball, and some others, but, we need to be completely, if ideally in a world, is completely resourced and funded scholarship-wise for a lot of those other sports that we have, and we're not there yet.
And that also kind of ties into fan support as well. I think that's also a bit of a part to that. That's why every show when there's events coming up, we try to tell people, hey, here's what's coming up. Come out and support. Whether it's at the field house, the complex, Billy Grant Field, Steele's Diamond, Baysmore Hyder Stadium, we try to encourage everybody, all of our listeners, and any of those who do listen on a regular basis to, hey, come out to these events. It's more to, like, there's more to it than just any sort of media rights with Flow Sports. You can watch games online, you can watch streams online, but it really takes the in-person support of going to these events that I think really drives the success, especially being down here in a small city town like Valdosta State, in Valdosta in general. It takes a village, like you said.
It does.
It takes a village. It takes people to get out here and really show that support and show that love to our Blazers. That's why we, encourage everybody to say, hey, here's what's going on. Come out and support. We'll be there, most of us, because of work. But even otherwise, you'll catch us every now and then. Just add an event because we want to be there.
Yeah, we come to the events that we don't work simply just mainly because it's nice to sit down and watch something rather than work it sometimes. But I mean, we said it, I believe it was near the start of this show, before the Lady Blazer basketball team really took off. Originally, we would see fan attendance, and nobody would really come to the women's game, but everybody would trickle into the men's game. And we saw that shift when the Lady Blazers started taking off.
Yeah,
really,
like January
that would be something good that we see for all of our sports, is something like that to fully take off.
Yeah, that's probably, one thing we're trying to look at right now, if kind of an immediate impact, is working with our corporate partners, and we have Greg Richards, who is our new assistant athletic director for marketing promotions, is what have we done in the past? Is there something that we can bring in and make it a little bit better with, whether it's giveaways, whether it's we've done a great job, I think, with theme nights before, but part of that is trying to get with other clubs and entities on campus, student-wise, and find out what would they like, to get them to that, because. And I've been able to watch on Flow Sports a lot of different games that we've had here in the past, and have a buddy at a conference school, and you do have some great ones, but it's not consistent, and we hope to change that. So how do we do that? Well, we have to, as far as leaders in the athletic department, find out what entices you to come, our student body, because if they will buy in, it makes an unbelievable atmosphere for our student athletes and makes it very uncomfortable for the visitors. And if we can do that, usually former basketball coach, you can usually say that's worth about 8 points this game, or a run or two, a baseball, softball. So they're certainly part of that. And I've been with some institutions where we've had some great student support, fan support, and if we can do that, that helps out our programs as well.
Yeah. Like you mentioned marketing and kind of find something to entice people. I have an idea. that I'd like to pitch to you directly here. It's something that I've been formulating since last year with Jack Calhoun, and it's simply the matter of, with West Georgia leaving the Gulf South Conference, I think the next major rivalry that we can sincerely push as a marketing thing for Valdosta State, VSU versus West Florida. I think, and I'm pitching that now, I think that maybe be the next VSU West Georgia. It's like the big marketing rivalry.
Yeah, we've talked about before. They play us tough in almost every sport, particularly in football. Each of the last two matchups have gone down to the wire in the last 30 seconds or so that really decides it. So, that's our biggest game of the year.
The Gulf
right
Coast
now.
clash.
Yeah.
Patent pending, title pending. I'm not going to ask for royalties.
Well, that's great. It's you've kind of coming in. West Georgia was obviously, you get informed very quickly of what the culture is here and what it's like, and that's probably, you're probably right. That's probably our next, biggest rivalry after West Georgia. So with everything in about every sport. So,
they're also the next closest to us.
Yes.
The next closest to us.
Proximity, absolutely. Just one more question before we go off into break. As we are, trickling into fall sports, and especially for new students that have come along, and obviously things have changed with Hurricane, and maybe are not familiar with athletic. If you can describe our fall teams in one word, in terms of what you have seen from them, one word to describe what VSU athletics are, what would it be?
One word. Wow, great question. Passion. I think that's the biggest part that I see, and that's also kind of an evaluator as far as, do we have student athletes and coaches that love what they do and love why they're here, and they play that way, one play at a time, whatever it is, one serve at a time, and that's a big part of it. You see it, and when you do that, it's not a job for the coaches. When you do that as a student athlete, those are the things you'll never forget, 30 years later.
Oh, yeah.
So. Absolutely. We appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Ask a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Have you been in Valdosta long before you were the athletic director?
I haven't. I haven't ever been down here, but had a little bit of a tie with our associate athletic director, Jennifer Grubbs, who's been here for 25 years. Coach Grubbs and I actually went to college together back in Kansas. So she was a part of the women's basketball program, and I played on the men's team as well. And so and then got out, and both of us got into coaching. So, when you have that, you've kind of always followed, those friends and colleagues throughout the year. So we kind of knew that. And then obviously, I've been a part of some NCAA stuff and was the chair of the tennis committee the last 2 years. So I was very fortunate this last May. I got to, for Division II, I got to hand out the trophy to the men's team down in Orlando.
Wow.
So that was amazing, just knowing I was coming in, and you talk about fan support, amazing fan support down there in Orlando for the guys and Coach Hansen and everybody, and it was great to kind of meet a lot of the VSU faithful before I got on campus.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard it yet, but we're kind of title town. You know, with Valdosta.
No, we're not kind of title town. That's a title. We are title town
with the high schools and
it's actually somewhere. I don't know if we can get. I don't know if we have a shot of it, but along the banners of the away side stands, it literally reads.
I think we'll get a camera shot of that, and we'll edit that in. Yeah, we'll throw it in there. Yeah.
So I mean, we didn't just randomly got that title. We earned that. Yeah. This city earned it.
Yeah, well, with that comes with a lot of success, and I just want to ask, what does success mean for you as the athletic director?
I think it encompasses a lot. I mean, obviously, we want to be successful on the field of play and on the courts and everything. But I think the overall success comes from, are we giving our student athletes the opportunity to fulfill a lot of things for them. One, the ability to compete. Number two, athletics, and this is part of my philosophy, is it's a pillar of the institution for the education. I mean, you learn a lot of different things with being adversity, time management, how to social interact with things, how to succeed, how to deal with that, and obviously how to deal with failure. And there's a lot of stuff with that. So the biggest part is just making sure that are we doing what we can to where freshmen come in or transfers come in, are we making them better? Again, resources, do we have what we need to make them better here? But a lot, when I talk with all of our student athletes to each program at the beginning of the year, one of the big one was, I'm a resource. Our athletic department is a resource, the institution. There's a lot of things that we can help you in your 4 to 5 years here to make you successful the next 40 or 50 years of your life. So take advantage of it because it's free. We're here. This is what we do. This is our passion now. And we want to make sure that you guys are and the ladies, when they go on, are successful. So take advantage of it. If you don't know, ask, because usually when they go out, we're the next ones to be their first references. So it kind of encompasses everything as is an overall well-rounded, student athlete when they're done. And same thing with coaches. Are we doing what they need as coaches and professionals to help them get there and achieve that?
Are you a part of the recruiting process? Because this whole football team is full of transfers, and we just want to know, like, are you a part of that process, trying to get students in, not just football, but basketball, other sports as well?
Not really. Not to the extent of calls or anything like that. When coaches do have them on campus and I see them, and I've told them too, it's like, I want to be, and that was part of my message, is I want to be transparent. And that's part of why being here as well, is you'll see me eat in the cafeteria. You'll see me on campus at other functions and events if we can fit it in. And that's part of it, because we want people to come to our events. I need to be the leader to go out and do that and support our other colleagues with that. With the recruiting process, if they see that from me and when they come here, I want our student athletes and their families to know, hey, I've been in your son or daughter's shoes before. And so if they have questions, again, resources, I'm there. But I'm not one that gets out on the road or anything like that. So, yeah.
Yes.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so you've alluded to the stadium multiple times, and I think that's probably one of two hot topics that every student on campus has. Number one, when or if we're going to go D1. We've already talked about that.
Sure.
But what are your thoughts about the stadium? You mentioned we play in a high school stadium. We obviously do have a lot of history here with us and Valdosta High, but what are your thoughts on that for the future and stuff of that nature?
Yeah, it's obviously it's a great facility, this entire block, and being so close to campus, and that creates that that energy of game day and that Blazer walk.
120 years.
So
120 years this place is.
You know, we'd love to have it, and that's always a kind of an ongoing conversation from my understanding over the past. And it's been asked by me since I've been here, but that's something that we have to look at, and we're, as you've probably known, we've headed into a capital campaign here in the next 5 or 7 years with some things, and we've identified a lot of things with that. And you know, I won't elaborate kind of what's in it, because it's not just athletics; it's encompassing everything with our 2030 vision. But you know, it's always on a thing that sometimes it'll come up, and we talk with the high school, and other times, you know, it kind of comes and goes. But I think, from my understanding, it's been that way for quite a while.
It has been.
So,
it has been. And that's why it's a question.
Yeah, always. You know, but we're if somebody or a corporation would love to step up, and I'd love to meet them somewhere and take, you know, a few $1 million or whatever to kind of lead the part to purchase it. I'm open to that as well.
Definitely.
Actually, hold on a second. I forgot to ask, Mr. Katen, on the volleyball team this season. What have been your thoughts on their sudden resurgence? What's kind of been your thoughts on that?
Well, I've known with Coach Zuha, I know she's been down here and has built this program up a little bit to where into what she's won. But I know the program she's come from, the other Division II, when she was an assistant, and that was one of the best programs in the country. And so she knows, she has the pieces, she's got the foundation, she knows what she's trying to accomplish. And watching them this early fall in preseason stuff, I was like, okay, they're going to click. And same way that we've kind of talked about with football and playing your best at the end, you've kind of hit on that. Football's hopefully trying to do that and continuing to do that, but you've also seen that with the volleyball program and on the soccer pitch with our ladies as well. No, our both of those programs, those ladies have been troopers with what they've had to overcome, as far as you mentioned the road teams or the road trips and with the hurricane, and just kind of getting displaced and not only physically but mentally taking a toll on them, and they've bounced back. They've kind of, like you said, made that a little bit better, and they've kind of bonded a little bit more to be like, hey, we're the ones that can stop us. Nobody else can. And you know, they played tough 2 out of the 3 sets against West Florida the other night, which was encouraging. With, you know, hey, they needed a little bit of rest, so it was great to see them go 3-0 last night, and hopefully get another one.
Absolutely, they're going to be hot. Of course, just talked a little bit briefly as we get ready to wrap up. Of course, they spent a slot into the Gulf Coast Conference tournament last night, won 3 in a row in 5 of their last 6 matches. Soccer is getting hot right at the right time.
It ain't over till it's over.
Yes, indeed. But right before we go, something that I will call him our director for today, Wyndham Drayton, and Kyle Hawthorne and I got a chance to finally partake in yesterday as recording of this video, so November 1st. We finally got a chance to go to Wintersville, and we got a chance to finally see Valdosta High take on Lowndes County.
That's right. You guys
finally went
this year.
Yeah,
I went last year.
It's such a big game for the culture of this town, and really just for South Georgia in general. So I mean, it was a great experience.
Absolutely. We have more of that coming up on an extra Ember, so I'm excited to do that as well. And me and Kyle will finally go over our MLB.
Enunciate.
Sir.
Enunciate. Sir.
I need to, but I am just, first of all, thank y'all for all of you that have stuck around, listen to our craziness, our madness, our great takes, our bad takes, and Cowboys fans' opinion takes.
Shut up.
And that will wrap it up from here. For camera 3, Kyle Hawthorne, Jalen Scott, and we got G Unit, and for the newest athletic director of Valdosta State University, Mr. Katen, I am the enforcer, Chris Mercer, and this has been a special presentation of the Inferno Blazers Sports Show. We thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch y'all the next time. Craig, holla at the people.
Thank you, guys.
Craig.
Bye, Felicia.